Hello everyone, welcome to this week's video from the Purple Penny. My name's Mark. I own and run the Purple Penny along with my wife Catherine. We've been doing these videos since 2019. We try to do one every week on a Monday, public holidays allowing. The videos themselves usually have a topic of the week about what's been going on with us in the last week, and also if there's any news from coin collecting around the world. The Purple Penny is a small family-owned business. We're in a suburb called Mawson Lakes, which is about 10 kilometres north of the city of Adelaide. We've been trading here since 2019. We're open Wednesday to Saturday. We buy, sell and trade coins, banknotes, collectibles, gold and silver, and you can either come into the shop here in Mawson Lakes and buy that from us, or a whole bunch of it goes out through our website, which is thepurplepenny.com. Right, we had a week off last week, as you probably know, and that's because last weekend was the Adelaide Coin and Banknote Expo, which is an annual coin show held here in Adelaide. I believe in terms of exhibitors, it's just about the biggest coin show in Australia, all organised by the Numismatic Society of South Australia. In particular, Richard Welling is the chief organiser of that, plus a whole raft of volunteers that help out on setup day and packing up and all the organisation that leads up to that. About 35 exhibitors, I think, there were there this year in the drill hall at the Torrens Parade Grounds. If you did come along, hopefully you came in and said hello. If you didn't say hello, then come into the shop and say hello to us anyway. We had some visitors from dealers on Friday before the show, and generally had a really good time, but I'll go into some more detail about that in a minute. Before we jump into the expo stuff, we'll just have a look at some coin stuff from around the world. Actually, we'll say a few hellos first. Let's do that. Hello Patrick, hello Catherine, who's out there catching up on the mail. All the three counters out the front this morning were absolutely chock-a-block with packages ready to get packaged up and put into boxes with beautiful application of postage stamps. The website was off for several days before the expo, so that we had time to prepare for the expo, and we switched it back on last Monday, and the only way I can describe it is it was like seagulls on hot chips. As soon as the website switched on, the orders have absolutely started flying in. And Catherine would like to just thank everyone for their patience with her as she does the mail. It just means that sometimes we're a day or two later getting it in the mail than what we usually are, simply because the volume is right up and we have a shop to run, and it's very difficult to get any mailing done when the shop is running, because it is just mostly Catherine and I here. We do have Jared that comes in and helps out a little bit, and Sebastian on the weekends, but the lion's share of the mailing falls on Catherine's shoulders, and she does it as quickly and efficiently as she can, but just while she's catching up on the backlog, you just have to be a little bit more patient than usual. Right, hello JJ, hello Ray, hello Peter, hello Patrick, hello Daryl, Tom and David. Thank you everyone for joining in. Patrick, head over to the Royal Australia Mint's Facebook page, and all the information you want to know about your question is there, including links where you can go and do what you want to do. Hello Rand and hello Ted. Thank you everyone for joining in today. Right, first item in the news is a man in Stockholm who was digging for worms, I think for fishing, on the outskirts of Stockholm, and he found a large corroded copper pot that was filled with 13 kilos of silver coins, pearls, rings and pendants. Quite a stupendous number, actually. I can't quite imagine what that would be like, finding 13 kilos of silver coins and jewellery. It's the largest find of its type near the capital city of Sweden, and it dates to about 1250 to 1300, which interestingly is apparently when Stockholm itself was founded. Stockholm was founded in the mid-1200s, and within 100 years it was the largest city in Sweden. So this treasure was buried around about the same time that Stockholm was founded. It includes coins with the legends Canutus, which is the Latin version of Canute, which is spelt there K-N-U-T, Canute Eriksson, and those coins date from 1173 to 1195. And it's believed that it's probably a family treasure because it does contain all these jewellery items as well as coins, and probably buried during a time when the Swedes were in conflict with Finland. The Swedes were sending lots of shiploads of people over to Finland to try and establish colonies over there, and perhaps this family buried this treasure prior to leaving for Finland, anticipating coming back to get it, and they never actually did. So, quite an amazing find there. 13 kilos of silver coins and jewellery found in the outskirts of Stockholm in Sweden by a man who was digging for worms for fishing. The next item in the news, what's going on here? Oh, we got to go here. Sorry about that. Is another find. This one a bit more commercial in nature. If you know your coin history, you've probably heard of a pieces of 8, which is a silver coin that was minted by Spain and the colonies of Spain. It is, of course, an 8 reals. Those 8 reals were the de facto pirate treasure, of course. And as Spain was basically looting its colonies in the New World, it would periodically send huge fleets of ships back to Spain, laden down with coins minted in the colonies to go back to Spain. In 1715, a treasure fleet that was heading from the New World back to Spain was hit by a hurricane off the coast of what is now Florida. Many of the ships were wrecked. Many of them lost treasure overboard. It's known as the treasure fleet of 1715, and in the USA there has been a number of treasure hunting companies set up, specifically designed to look for sunken ships of this particular Spanish treasure fleet, and one of those companies is called the 1715 Fleet Jewels LLC. And the reason why this is commercially viable is that the government of Florida, the state government of Florida, does allow these companies to search Florida's waters for this treasure in return for 20% of their fines going back to the state of Florida for display in museums and things like that. So one of these companies just recently found over 1,000 gold and silver coins recovered just off the coast of Florida, and those were all minted in Spanish colonies of Bolivia, Mexico and Peru, many of them with visible dates and mint marks, expected to be worth well over $1 million. If you're wondering, you can actually invest in a lot of these companies. Some of them are floated on the share market, some of them are privately listed, but they do offer shares, and you can partake in some of the treasure that they may or may not find. Again, quite remarkable that this sort of stuff has been sitting on the bottom of the ocean for over 200 years. Right, a couple more hellos. Hello, Bevan. It's good to see you last week in here, Bevan. And hello, Paul. Thank you for joining in. Right. I thought what I'd do is just cover off on the expo. Now, before I get into that, I'll just give you a bit of a background on what we actually do here for the expo. We usually start preparing for the expo about a month prior to the expo itself happening, and the reason for that is that when we take stock to the expo, we like to take fresh inventory to the expo, and that's because so many of our regular customers come to the stands at the expo, and also people who regularly buy things off of our website, so we try to just give them fresh things to look at. So as a consequence, Catherine and I, for a few weeks, we'll take things home and price them up at night time. We'll have Jared working on pricing up things for the expo in preference to putting new stock on the website, and we always close the shop down halfway through the day on Friday so that we can get down there and set up on Friday afternoon. We leave home at about 7:30 on Saturday morning for the first day of the expo, get home about 6, and then on Sundays we leave a little bit later, leave about 8:30, whole day at the expo, then we pack up and come back here to the shop and unload, and we usually finish up about 7 p.m. So it's a fairly significant exercise. This year we decided to switch the website off for a week, and that was to give Catherine time to get material packed up for the website and get ourselves organised for the expo. If we didn't do that, she'd be packaging things for the post all the time, and it would fall onto my shoulders, or for her to work outside of hours to just do all the final organisation and stuff. I'm not the most organised person in the world, and she's far more organised than me, so it's better that she does that stuff, and that paid off with regards to setup and things like that for us this year. It went as smoothly this year as we could have hoped. It was just fantastic. But that's kind of the background, so it is a bit of effort for us. Just share a couple of pictures here. The top one there is Catherine setting up on Saturday morning before the expo, so that would be about 10 past 8 there, which is about 2 hours before the expo opened. She took everything in neatly packed in cardboard boxes, and everything was in baskets, so it could just be unloaded and put on our 3 tables. We only had 3 tables this year. Usually we have 5, so we were 40% less area for displaying things, and we were in a different spot. We used to be over by the door, which is right by the entry, and quite a busy spot, and that meant that we had to have someone there helping us, because 2 of us wasn't enough. There's too many tables to look after. So that meant Jared was coming in on Saturdays and Sundays of the expo. We pay Jared appropriate award wages. We don't pay him in kind, so Jared, great help, but also costs us money, especially on Sundays. He gets time and a half or double time on Sundays. I'm not sure exactly. So we just decided to cut back our presence a little bit this year, just in the aims of reducing costs, and also I guess reducing the stress on us too, because the first few years we did this, when we were over by that door there, we were absolutely ruined on Saturday night. It's been 2 very long days, and we just thought we'd just step back a little bit. And given that we have a shop, there's not really a big need for us to sell a whole lot of stuff during the expo. It's more of an opportunity to meet new people and see our customers and do some business with other dealers and things like that. So we just thought we'd scale back a bit this year. The bottom picture there is a gentleman by the name of Peter Voss. He was one of the exhibitors there. He's a local dealer. He doesn't have a physical presence here in Adelaide, but he does show up to shows and things like that. He's a pretty good guy, Peter. Very communicative, very good on social media. Right. Now, sorry, I've just got some questions here. Ted is saying that, just wondered if there were heaps of people wanting to buy gold, US 4,000k per ounce at the expo, like big lineups at ABC Bullion last week at Sydney. No. There's a few people looking for silver, but no one was looking for gold. We don't think we sold any gold at the expo. We sold quite a bit in the shop last week, but nothing at the expo. I know there were people there looking for silver, and yeah, I don't care what the price is in US dollars, by the way. It's only Australian dollars that matters. I don't even follow it in the US dollar price, because it's it's been all-time highs in Australian dollars for a lot longer. There's been all-time highs in US dollars because, of course, there's currency exchange things. Jason says, how do you decide on what to take? Well, every year we try to sort of do something thematic. So last year we took a lot of world stuff and a lot of $2 oriented stuff, and we tried some ancient coins and tried some high-value pre-decimal coins and sovereigns and things like that. We take notes after the expo. Actually, what I do is I take the notes and I put them in an email, and I email them to myself 9 months in the future, so that we know, in 9 months' time what did well at the last expo, and we try to sort of tailor it around that. This year, Catherine focused on, I guess, mint product that we had a lot of quantity of here in the shop that was lower value, so think less than $50. And it's the sort of stuff that doesn't necessarily sell too quickly here in the shop, because so much of our business here in the shop is regulars. We have fabulous customers here in the shop that come in every week. They've got it all. So it's the sort of stuff that we don't sort of rush to put out in the shop here, and it sells ever so slowly on the website. But because we see so many new people at the expos, Catherine thought it would be worth taking a lot of that sort of stuff, and she chose exactly right. All that stuff sold really well. The better pre-decimal and the few sovereigns we took and some ancient coins that we took, none of that really sold. And I guess it's not really a price thing. It's more of it's not the right crowd, I guess, to buy that sort of stuff. And if you follow our website in the next few weeks, all the coins that will appear on there are all the coins that were priced up to take to the expo, so it's not really a wasted effort. About 35 dealers were there. The quantity of stock on display was huge. I mean, there was a lot of stuff. The mix of stock, I feel, was a bit different to last year, and I've just got a few notes there. So Saturday was very crowded for the first 3 hours, very much shoulder to shoulder. Dealers, I spoke to some dealers on Sunday about how they'd gone, and some of them were happy with how it went. Some of them were a bit mixed with how it went. One of the dealers there was a bullion dealer, reportedly did very well in terms of volume of sales, but of course margins on bullion is very small, so what the profit was on that, I'm not really sure. There was a lot less recent mint product compared to what was there last year. Last year, many of the dealers that came from interstate that don't have shops, that really rely on online trade and going to coin shows, they all showed up with the same stuff, and then it just becomes a race to the bottom in terms of pricing. I didn't see a lot of that stuff there this year, so some of the dealers had obviously taken note of that. Now, in terms of the admission fee and the parking fee, no one that was actually in the show even mentioned that to me, and given I did most of the social media advertising for the expo this year, there was a lot of pushback about the admission fee and the parking fee, and I really thought that there'd be a few people upset about that were walking around the show saying it was too expensive to get in, but no one said anything to me about that. The mint wasn't there, obviously. Lots of people commented on the fact that the mint wasn't there, but as dealers, I'm not sure that... I mean, if you're going to come to a coin show and spend $2,000 swapping coins with the mint and then walk out of the show, then why do I care if the mint's not there, really? Because it means you're not spending any money with us, and you're making it a more difficult exercise to work for the expo people. So, while it would have been nice to have the mint there, I do feel like a lot of the people that go to the mint just go for the mint and then never walk into the rest of the show, so I'm not really fussed about that. In terms of buying, I bought a few things off of other dealers for myself, and then a few things for the shop, and they'll appear on the website over the next few weeks. Nothing too exciting. Because we had less of a presence, I got a bit more of a time to have a walk around and look at things, and Catherine had a bit of a chance too, so that was good. Now, I thought what I'd do is just talk about the sales and the purchases for us, what went well and what went wrong. The setup and pack up was super smooth. Catherine did a great job with that. It was easily the best effort that we've had at that. It was not stressful. It was not hard work. It all just went really smoothly. The mix of product that we took and what sold was very satisfying, because we got rid of some cubic feet of stuff, some volume of stuff, rather than a huge amount of value. The actual expo organisers did really well. There wasn't really any troubles on the day that I noticed, other than the fact that our stand was in front of a loudspeaker, which was terrible. So we just got a question here. David, does the Australian Mint still verify 1930 pennies and issue a letter of certificate? No, they don't. So that was an easy one, David. Thanks for the question. In general, my interaction with the public was very positive. I do just about all of the purchasing at expos, and my interaction, apart from one person, was very positive with people. So that was good. Now, in terms of sales, our sales to the public was down 39% on last year, which, given that we had 40% less space and we're in a less prominent area, that doesn't actually sound too bad as far as I'm concerned. And the purchases were the same as the expo last year in terms of dollar value. So, for me, that means that it wasn't a wasted effort. It was worth doing. I did not purchase one coin off of the public that will appear up on the website. Not one. It was all just round 50-cent pieces and just stuff. Stuff that we've already got masses of. Nothing that we'll take a photo of and put up on our website. So that was a little bit disappointing. Sometimes we do get some interesting things, and that's what makes this job fun, is finding interesting things. What made the weekend really worthwhile is our business that we did with the trade, and that's with other dealers. We did 5 times the amount of business with the trade as what we did with the public. So generally what that is dealers coming in from interstate and more or less raiding the local dealers who are, us and at the toss of a coin, really. So that was great. It was, that was terrific to be able to work with other dealers that way, and being able to have a professional and friendly relationship with other dealers is really a fun part of this business. Now, I went back and looked at our weekly sales from here in the shop and compared that with our sales for the few days before the expo and the expo itself, and I plotted it all on a graph, and really you couldn't tell the difference. I mean, it was just another week for us. It was honestly just another week. There wasn't a blip there where our sales have gone up or anything like that. Our sales this year in the shop is up significantly over what it was last year. Our business has definitely improved. So, the expo itself, in terms of return for the amount of work that it is not worthwhile. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. It's not worthwhile for us for the amount of effort we put into it. We could just keep doing the same as what we're doing, which is listing up 50 or 60 items on our website every week, and Catherine pricing up stuff and putting it up out the front of the shop, and we would not notice one jot of difference by going to the expo or not going to the expo. And in fact, because we switched the website off for a week, when we switched it back on Monday after the expo, we had more sales. We had 3 times as many sales through our website in the next 7 days than what we did at the whole expo. So that gives you, I guess, some inclination of, why for us it was marginally useful. Where it was useful was building relationships with the public, with other dealers, and it's fun. We do enjoy going along and talking to people. The setup, it's a bit tiresome, but the actual day itself, the 2 days were fun. So if there's an expo next year, I'm sure we'll be going along, but whether we'll go with the same presence or we're not sure. But at least this is now out there in the public, and we can't deny what we said last year when the expo comes up next year. Now, Matt says, do you sell to the trade at a lower price? Yeah, but one dealer bought $185 coins off of us, Matt, and I just about carry the box of those back to Melbourne for him so that we don't have to have them anymore. Dealers don't just buy one thing. They don't, they're not bargaining over a $50 purchase. They're buying hundreds of things at once, or multiple gold sovereigns, or so. Yeah, we do offer them a cheaper price, but the volume makes it worthwhile. And if you are one of our regulars and spend with us, then we usually offer a discount for our regulars as well. So it's not just trade where we offer discounts. John says exposure at the show could correlate to after show sales. Well, John, I find that one of the biggest benefits of going to the show is making contacts with people who have things to sell, because a lot of people go to the expo knowing that they have a collection, inheritance and things like that, and they don't take it with them because of they don't feel safe, or they're just sort of dipping their toes in the water to understand how the process works. And we'll often, for almost the whole year after the expo, we'll get people coming in here that have met me at the expo and say, oh, I don't know if you remember me, but I met you at the expo and I finally brought my things in to sell. So that for us is probably the biggest benefit from it. Biggest personal benefit is that we enjoy it. We enjoy talking to the other dealers, and we enjoy interacting with our customers and maybe our online customers that we don't normally see here in the shop. So there's no doubt there's pluses to it, but the actual sales on the day, given that we have a shop, it's a bit questionable for us about the financial returns. So that's the expo. If you're here in Adelaide and you said hello and I didn't respond, or I didn't respond appropriately, I do apologise. Make sure you tell me off the next time you come in here. Right. Topic of the week is the gold and silver price. Now, gold and silver are on a huge run at the moment. I'm not going to go into why, because I don't know why. I don't follow reasons. I just look at what the price is every morning. But there's no doubt that it is impacting us as coin collectors, and it's impacting me because I buy the odd thing for my collection that's made out of gold or silver, and the cost of those has gone up. If you are wanting to buy 1 ounce silver collector coins, then many of those, the price has gone up significantly in the last year. If you're buying mid-grade pre-decimal coins, the price of those has gone up significantly in the last year. If you're stacking round 50-cent pieces, the price of those has gone up significantly. And the increase of the gold and silver price means that the supply of this stuff is probably going to diminish over time. And let's just have a look at what's been going on there. If I can work this computer. Sorry, silent time there, dead air. That's terrible. Right, so as of this morning, the gold price was $6,222 per ounce. That's Australian dollars. That's up 13.6% this month. 13.6% this month. Bank interest at the moment in a high interest account is about 3.7% or something. So in the last month it's gone up 4 times what a year of bank interest would be. It's up 56.6% this year. Now what does that mean for something that we all understand? It means that at the beginning of this year a sovereign was worth $935 in gold value. A month ago it was $1,288 in gold value, and this morning it was $1,464 in gold value. That is just staggering how much that's gone up. Silver as of this morning was $77.48 per ounce. That's Australian dollars. That's up 22% in a month. 22%. That's over 5 times what you get from the bank in a year, but in a month. It's crazy. It's up 67.1% this year, so it's up over 2/3 this year. For around 50-cent piece, at the beginning of the year, there was $15.77 worth of silver in it. A month ago, there was $21.58, and this morning there was $26.36 worth of silver in around 50-cent piece. Around 50-cent piece is 11.23 grams of 80% silver, about 0.34 of an ounce, so about just over 1/3 of an ounce per around 50-cent piece. And the reason why I use that is because that's the most common silver coin that we buy and sell here in the shop. Now, what does that mean to us as collectors? And it is something that us as collectors should I don't know if we should worry about it, but it's certainly something we should be a bit concerned about. And it's for a number of reasons. Firstly, the increased visibility of bullion value via mainstream media. Someone mentioned the price of Australian gold and the lineups out the front of ABC Bullion last week in Sydney. You know that the gold and silver prices are increasing rapidly when it gets onto the mainstream media. And of course, a few days ago, there was coverage on most of the news networks about the lineups out the front of bullion dealers in Sydney. There was 150, 200 people queued up out the front of various bullion dealers. Whether they were buying or selling, I don't know. I've got no idea. But as soon as that stuff gets into the mainstream media, you would think that that's not a great thing for us as coin collectors. Now, why is that? It's because more coins will now be taken to precious metal dealers, gold and silver buyers, instead of coin dealers. And precious metal dealers, gold and silver buyers, they don't give two hoots about a coin. It's just gold and silver to them, and it just all goes into the melt pot to be refined. So what does that mean? It means that the supply of coins on the market is inevitably going to decrease. It is going to decrease. There will be less coins available to us as coin collectors. It means that coins that have gold and silver on them have decreasing numismatic appeal because they are becoming too expensive. They are, us as coin dealers, we're being priced out of buying some coins because they're becoming more appealing to bullion purchasers. Bullion purchasers think differently to coin collectors. They just buy an amount of gold and silver, dollar cost average or whatever it is that they do. And us as coin collectors, we buy the coins we want that we can afford, and as the bullion value outpaces the numismatic value, we are priced out of that market. An example that I'll give to you, and this isn't to do with coins, but I sort of collect some badges that are made out of gold, and maybe I might buy one or two a year. There was a dealer at the expo that had a number of these badges that were made out of gold, and 2 years ago I would have bought them, but this year it's too much money. Even though they were only barely above the gold value, it was just too much money. I can't spend $1,500 on one badge. It's just too much money. So those badges, if not sold to a collector, that dealer will probably scrap them at some point, and then they'll be gone forever. And the same is happening with sovereigns and half sovereigns and vintage gold bars and vintage silver bars and silver 1 ounce coins and things like that. These things are going into the melt pot. Sterling silver coins, sterling silver silverware, cutlery, that sort of stuff, it's all going into the melt pot because it is being priced out of collectors' hands and becoming a bullion item. Even if bullion collectors do come and buy 1 ounce silver coins from here in the shop in cardboard boxes and things like that, they don't necessarily care for all that packaging. And I know that a lot of them will just pull the coins out of the packaging and throw the certificates away and just keep the 1 ounce coins. So those things are, again, not only are they being removed from the collector market, they're also, I guess, being removed from the resale market to collectors, because most collectors just want original coins and original packaging with their certificates and things like that. And I guess they also don't necessarily care for the storage. A bullion collector may come and buy some nice European gold at a small margin over the gold price and then take it all out of the holders and just have it banging around in a bag because it fits in the safe better that way. They don't necessarily care about the grade of the items either. So the net result of this is that a lot of collectors are being priced out of the market, which is a great shame. It also means that the Perth Mint and the Royal Australian Mint are increasing all of the prices of any of their coins that have precious metal content on them. And in fact, the Royal Australian Mint is revising the price of their gold coins all the time, which is something that they've only started doing in the last year. There was a release price previously and that was the price, whereas now they're revising that all the time. And this is collectible gold coins, not their bullion ones that they sell. The one positive, as far as I can see it, and Matt Battersby in the comments here is one of these people, is that if you are a collector that's lucky enough to have bought gold and silver coins over the last few years, then you do have an opportunity to cash in there, perhaps to turn some of that gold and silver over and buy coins that perhaps you couldn't afford previously. I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm nervous every morning when I get up to see what's going on with the gold and silver price, because for us as a business, we pay the margins on gold and silver is pretty small, like very small, and certainly if the prices were to tank, that wouldn't be good for us. that's best diplomatically as I can put it. And prices do tank. They have tanked, and sometimes they just keep going up. And I don't know which way it's going to go. But us, from a business point of view, we're just a little bit nervous about things. So, and I guess from a coin collecting point of view, and personally as a badge collector, it is disappointing to see just how expensive some of this stuff is getting. And it's not because more collectors want it. It's simply because of the metal value, which is just hugely disappointing. Right, that's it for this week. Oh no, it's not. I just got to share one slide with you. I have forgotten one slide. I got told by Catherine that I need to have some time off, so we're closing for a week at the end of the month. I don't think I've had any time off since June last year. So on Wednesday the 29th of October, we'll be closed that week from the 29th to Saturday the 1st. That's it. That's all I've got. The website will be closed then as well. We're going to have a complete week off doing nothing. I do apologise if that is inconvenient for anyone, but that's the way it is, unfortunately. Right. Just a couple more questions here. Matt says, if silver prices tank, you may see me in the shop selling my numismatics. Well, yeah, selling things that have gone down in value is always an interesting exercise here in the shop, because things don't always go up, and that's what a lot of people have to realise, is things don't always go up. Sometimes they go down, and Catherine and I, the prices we pay for things tend to reflect where the market is right now. And if you do keep an eye on our website, you'll see that we do revise the pricing on things, whether that be up or down. We revise all the pricing on gold and silver at least once a week. Whether that's up or down, you'll see the prices for gold and silver coins and round 50s and bulk pre-decimal will change. Usually on a Wednesday morning it'll change just based on what the silver and gold price is at that moment. And if you're smart, sometimes you'll get it for less than the silver or gold price, because, as I said, we just update it once a week. Right, that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next week on Monday. Hopefully we'll have a good topic of the week. If anyone's got any suggestions, please send us a message. Give us a call, whatever you want to do, and we'll try to talk about it next week. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now. Happy collecting, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.